Yeah, hello, and hello, everyone. Yeah, okay. So I'm really excited to be here again. Um, this is Adebayo, and okay, just real quick. Um, I'm so excited today that we are going to be having this conversation, talking about AI in education, and this time around we're talking about the Cottesmore story. Um, yeah. Oh, awesome. Yeah, I see the email. Think. Oh, that's great. I'm just going to put that in the chat section because I know a lot of people are going to be interested in knowing more about Cottesmore School. Even in this session. Yeah. So today is a special day, and that's because we have um, uh, a special guest with us today. Where's my phone? Okay, I need to do this real quick. All right, I just want to add to LinkedIn and do. Yeah, so I know a lot of you you are excited just like I am, to really um enter this conversation and see um what is going on in the world of AI in education today. There are a lot of case studies, there are a lot of evidence here and there. A lot of things are happening. There are a lot of possibilities, in the landscape, and we are so fortunate today to have Tom with us in the studio. Um, Tom Rogerson, um, um, from Cottesmore School. Tom is share with us the Cottesmore story. Like, how has Cottesmore done it? Like, how did it happen in the first place? From the inception, right? Thinking about the whole idea, looking at their initial state, because I know this is why many schools are scared, right? From the initial stage, like, how did it all happen? How did it all started, right? And what were the moves? What were the challenges? What was the plan? And from the design thinking perspective, how did it just all break out? And what was it like, right? I am so excited, and I'm just going to bring Tom into the studio right away. Um, yeah,
Hi
hi
there.
Tom, can you hear me?
Yes, Adebayo, very delightful to be here with you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for your time. Um, um, I, I'm so excited that we have you with us in this show. And I know that our listeners, our viewers, please, if you can hear me, whether you're viewing from LinkedIn or YouTube, please put your name in the chat section. Tell us where you're joining from. I'm sure that while Tom is responding to the questions, you might also like to speak to some context, maybe from what you have seen as well. So tell us where you're joining from. Let me just make sure I'm on LinkedIn actively and seeing what's going on in that place.
I think you
Um,
are very much. Hang on, try again. Issues loading the event. I'm just having a look, and I'm tapping to join, and you are very much live on LinkedIn. Sorry, we are.
oh, powerful. Great. We are live on LinkedIn. I'm excited. Okay. Okay, so Tom, today this is gonna be a dialogue. I'm going to be asking 4, 5, 6 questions, and then I'm sure our audience, our listeners too, are going to have a number of questions to ask. As regards this very important topic,
Mm.
AI in education. Okay, great. In the room. Okay, so the first question I'm gonna ask, even as we go on in this conversation, is what do you think? Firstly, what do you think about artificial intelligence? Because as an education leader, what do you think about artificial intelligence? First of all, the reason I'm starting with this question is because I've seen, a lot of education leaders are skeptical. Um, they don't think it's something they should bother about now, right? They don't think it's something that they want to. They rather just want to focus on their business and keep the business going, right? Um, you know, um, um, how what do you think? That is about AI as it stands now. And even as someone in the education business.
That's a big question, Adebayo. What do I think of AI? How do I think we should react to it? I think we should be two things. I think we should be really enthusiastic and really excited, but I think we should almost be the opposite of that as well. I think we should be circumspect and we should be concerned. And I think if you draw those two things together, I think you get the perfect combination. So I think they're right. Those leaders, those educationalists, I think they're right to be worried. They should be worried, but also they should be very, very excited. And that's the approach that we've taken. Our biggest thing at Cottesmore has been the conversation. Whether it's a good thing, AI is a good thing, or AI is a bad thing, we've opened up a global conversation, and people have been joining us from around the world, like I'm joining you from, London, and it's an incredible piece of dynamism going on in the world at the moment around AI. And I think we should be really excited and really grateful, actually, that this is happening, but also concerned. So I think combining the two.
Yeah, please go ahead.
The big word is conversation to begin with.
Yeah. I got that. The power of conversations.
Yeah.
POC. I got that. This is golden. So you see, I love that we're starting on this note. Tom is sharing with us here very practical things. So this is saying that wherever you are as a school, in Africa, in Europe, in Asia, wherever you are, one thing that is very possible, right? Very, very possible is that you can open up conversations, right? And these conversations can begin to generate insight, can begin to ideas as regards what is possible, what you can do, and also as a way to strike a balance between being worried and then being excited. And I like the fact that you said again that we need to be grateful, right? I know when you say we need to be grateful, I'm sure you are saying that from a depth of so many things that has happened lately, a lot of advantages and many things that AI seems to also bring to the table.
Yeah, would we be talking right now, Adebayo, if it hadn't been for AI? Yes, we have all these technologies, streaming technologies. They've been around for a long time. Zoom, it's been around for a long time now. Would we be talking just because of that? No, it's this extremely interesting and powerful thing that's going on at the moment that has drawn you and I together today. And so definitely grateful. I think that the second part is what we're doing now. So the conversation is for us the paramount thing, and also allowing people to express themselves, allowing people to be excited, but also allowing people to be trepidatious, to be worried, allowing that, not shutting them down, saying, no, you should be very excited only about AI, because I think that's right. Allow all parts of the conversation. There are lots and lots of people who are really worried about their jobs. So writers and musicians and creatives. Personally, I don't think they need to be. It's just going to be a slightly different paradigm. It's going to be a slightly different thing. But I think that's the one thing is the conversation about it. Also knowing, just, you've got to know this stuff. You've got to know about it. You can't put your head in the sand and sort of think that it's going to go away, or if you shout no, or if you stamp your feet, it's all going to go away and everything's going to go back to the way it was in sort of, in the good old days. It's just not going to happen. And so if you want to create change, if you want to be part of it, if you want to make the AI world better, get involved, get right into the center of it and start to tell people who are creating this stuff and who are right at the center of it, hang on, guys, we need to do it like this. We need to, make it more human. We need to make it, fill it with love, fill it with connection. And that's the other word I wanted to talk to you about is connection. And that's really, really important. You and I are doing it right now. But connections, if you want to know a lot about it, if you want to get into it, if you want to change the world of AI or be part of the world of AI in education, connect with loads of people like you've done, we've done together. Connection, that conversation and connection, the two main pieces of advice for today. I think it's a big thing. Really important.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Tom, for that. If you're an education leader, if you're a teacher, you're listening to this conversation, two things to start with: conversation and connection. They are powerful in moving you forward and properly guiding you into that word, and that's a lot. So, right now, we're going to take this deeper. Narrowing this down to cuts more. So, tell us, what was the first step you took? Right. So, I know we've talked about conversations. I mean, so in terms of integration, what was the first step you took? And how what was involved? So I know before that first step, Cottesmore was in the previous state, in an initial state, and then you started thinking about AI and bringing in AI, right? What were the things that happened between the initial state and then that first step towards integrating AI into the system?
Well, first of all, we didn't realize, and I think a lot of people don't realize, they're already using AI. Yep. So in hindsight, we've been using AI for years and years and years. So that was the first stage that Cottesmore was in, using AI. We know very well somebody called Priya Lakhani. That's another thing. I'll send you a link. It's a thing called Century Tech. I don't know if you know Priya Lakhani and Century Tech, but it's an AI informed learning algorithm, learning thing. And so we've been using that. So we've been using that for a few years. And also, who doesn't? When you go onto Amazon, you're using AI. You've been using AI for years. So that's my first thing I'd like to say. We've all been using AI for years. I think we're really talking about generative AI, or this new iteration, sort of like popular iteration of generative AI. So how do we get into it? So it was simply a thing where this thing called Wonder, this application called Wonder. Do you use Wonder, or do you use which application do you use for making images?
I use ideogram,
Yeah.
and sometimes I could use DALI.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm for whatever reason, I'm sort of stuck with this application called Wonder because it was my original. You sort of tend to stick with your original.
Really?
But Wonder is my sort of baby. I when it first came out, this was in November 2022, and I didn't know it was generative AI then. But this image creation system, it had been in popular culture. It had been a Netflix series, this thing. But it came along, this Wonder thing. I downloaded it. I bought it. Started creating images. It was absolutely incredible. You could say paint a picture of the Sussex countryside in the style of Van Gogh. With a cricket match in the back, and there it would come. Obviously, now we know this is ordinary. This is commonplace now. And so I didn't realize this was generative AI, but I was sort of using it a lot and creating images, and to me, it was very exciting. I'm an artist, and I'm a musician, and I'm also a songwriter. As well as running a school and running a business, running a school. And so this was a very exciting creative development, and it was super cool. Anyway, so I didn't think much of it other than sort of having a play with it every now and again. Didn't think much of it. Then my good nephew Max came to me after a little break in the winter term, and he said, "You've got to look at this thing, Uncle. This is a cool thing, ChatGPT. You type in what you want it to write, and it writes something." And I thought, that sounds lazy and that sounds bad. Actually, that's what I thought. I thought, I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't relate it at that point to Wonder. ChatGPT is like completely two different things. And I thought, no, and I didn't really pay much attention to him and sort of sent him on his way. I love him dearly, and we got on very, very well. He kept on badgering me about it. And then 2 days later, I went for it, and I went to it and sort of find out what it was all about, and successfully, really got into it. And as soon as I started using ChatGPT, the OpenAI's LLM, it was really, really interesting. It was huge, an explosion of creativity. When you're a creative person, Adebayo, I think you might be a creative person. I don't know, but I get the feeling you might be a creative person. You're creating curriculum, curricula, aren't you? You're creating curricula, so you must be a creative person. And essentially, what it is that so many possibilities suddenly, just immediately, were becoming obvious to me. And so what we did immediately, I don't know if you were involved with any of these conferences, but I said, right, we are going to have a conference. We're going to gather people together, and we're going to have a conference. And so I got a guy who's a very, very fantastic person, historian, but also he wrote a book on AI called Anthony Selden, Sir Anthony Selden. He's famous in the UK, educationalist. And he opened the show, or opened the conference. And a guy called Dan Fitzpatrick, who you will know. If you don't know these guys, I'll take a bit of time and write down his name. Dan Fitzpatrick talked at the show. A guy called Darren Coxon, who you must know as well. He came and talked at the show. And Priya Lakhani at Century Tech, she talked at the show, and a couple of other people. And it was such high energy. Man, this was big vibes. This was big energy and exciting times, because, and I didn't realize it at the time, we were the first school in the world that was doing this. That we were drawing people together to talk about. I know. Who knew? I didn't know. And that's another thing which you know very well, which we were the first in the world as well. So, we didn't realize it was quite so sort of avant-garde anyway. So all we were trying to do is have a conversation, and we successfully did have a conversation. It was amazing. And then we sort of packed up the show. It was broadcast live, and it was fantastic. People were beaming in from around the world. It was amazing. And so I thought, right, well, that's that. I can go back to my normal life. The boys and girls are going to play netball and rugby, and I'll go and, we're going to walk around the school and do some Latin and do some maths, and, everything's just going to go back to normal. But I was sort of badgered by people, and they said, no, you can't just do this thing. You can't just, start something off and then, run away. You've got to keep going. And so I was persuaded to do something more. And so what I did was do a 3-day solid. We exploded it out. It was huge. We did a 3-day festival called Cottesmore's Free AI Festival. And Darren Coxon spoke again. Anthony Selden again opened it. A guy called Stefan Bouchard. Stefan Bouchard spoke on the Monday. And we had Dr. Nick Jackson. Do you know Dr. Nick Jackson? You should follow Dr. Nick Jackson.
Yeah, sure.
I'll tell you all these names. So you can share them with everybody. It was super, super amazing. Some fantastic Phil Birchnell, Melissa McBride. I'm very sorry if I'm missing people out. And then we had Dr. Phil Hardman. Who definitely, I'm going to type all these names out. I'll send you the flyer for the festival. Yeah. Dr. Phil Hardman, Matthew Weems, who you might know. Matthew Weems. He's just put on his own show actually. And who else? And then Dan Fitzpatrick wrapped it up, and he was the sort of, it was an amazing thing. But he really, really did such an amazing job of wrapping the thing up, of consolidating everything and making everybody like super, super confident to then go out and do it. So. Who was there? So I said it was obligatory for all of the staff to come, but I haven't ever said since that it's important for the teachers at Cottesmore to use it. I said you don't have to use it. You don't have to have anything to do with AI. You can just do it if you want to, and that's worked beautifully, because the people who are enthusiastic, people who are really feeling good about it, they're taking it forward and they're leading it. The people who are the ones who are a bit circumspect and worried and whatever, they can leave it behind, and they can, just leave it for later. As you said right at the beginning, some people are like, leave it for later. I am completely in both camps. Leave it for later. That's fine. It's not a big deal. Don't do it if you don't want to. But if you do want to, I'm going to give you the platform. I'm going to give you all of the training, world-class training that you could possibly want to fly with this thing. And that's what we did. And then there's the middle lot who are sort of doing it, toes in, in and out, and sort of, just testing it out. So that's what we've got at Cottesmore now. We've got some people who are really, really running with the ball, to coin a rugby analogy. They're running with the ball, and they're really going for it. And they're being helped incredibly by someone, and I'll talk about that person later on. Is this what you wanted to hear from me?
Yeah. So again, you are opening up something very powerful. talking about the fact that you talked about the conference, and then you talked about the festival as well. And I
Yeah.
think that the combination of these two events kind of like just opened up that pathway, that portal, that opportunity, that kind of soft landing. So starting was really easy because there was a lot of insight in the atmosphere.
Mm.
A lot of guys coming to share what has worked, and the confidence, and I think that's really powerful.
Big
That's really
time.
powerful.
Big time.
That's powerful.
It's you've summed it up beautifully there, because it's just quietly giving people everything they need to then go with it if they want to. It's giving them the confidence, because what I think is, like anything, if you don't know about it, or if you can't understand it, or if it's not been explained very well, it can be more worrying than it really
Yeah,
is. And
yeah,
that's something that we were trying to dispel, something that we're trying to get over. But we did
yeah.
one more, and we're doing more conferences. We did one more, which was a big one, a really big one,
Mm,
and perhaps you want to
mm,
talk about it later. And that was AI and special educational needs,
mm,
AI and SEN, and that was major stuff. Yeah. So
mm.
we can talk about that. Special educational needs and AI
Yeah.
is something that has vast potential for the world.
Mm, powerful, powerful. So let's talk about let's talk about this. The first time I heard about Cottesmore School was when I saw that headline that a boarding school was using an AI bot as its principal head teacher. Please, I'm sure the audience, they're going to be excited to know about this, and what it means, and yeah, and there's some other things I saw as well. But I'd like you to like shed some light about that one.
For sure. So it actually started with another article that you might not have seen, because it wasn't quite so sort of global, that one. And I
Okay.
advertised for a head of AI, and that apparently to some people was a major story, or to everybody it was a
Mm,
major story. It was considered to be avant-garde. It was considered to be, an incredible thing to do, and so that was where it all started. And then what happened was we were very near to appointing somebody, but it didn't quite work, because
mm,
Cottesmore is a very sporty place. It's a very pastoral place. It has so many different facets to it that it was quite difficult to find somebody, and also somebody that we could afford. That was the other thing.
mm,
Finding exactly the right person to be the head of AI. And so what I thought, in the meantime, that we would try to create a head of AI, which was AI, through creating a bot. And so
mm,
we did that, but that was like that was a bit meta. That was a bit complicated for people. People's minds were blown. An AI head of AI, no, that was sort of a bit too much for people. And so we thought, hey, why don't we? This is, by the way, this is all with a caveat that I will explain. This whole thing is with the caveat. And it's like, so the next idea was, okay, let's appoint, or let's create a bot, which is a creative, strategic leadership bot, and that will be the AI principal head teacher. That'll be that.
mm,
And so we did. That's what we did, and we created it, and I used it, and it's very helpful and useful, and it's a big sort of thumbs up. What transpired was that there's a big tech community out there, which
mm,
is quite very experienced, and they're veterans of the world of AI, veterans of the world of tech, and they taught me very quickly that something called anthropomorphization, so the humanizing of tech, is something that's very frowned upon, or
mm,
it's something that you need to delve into
mm,
very carefully. And so I had lots of conversations with intellectuals and academics and professors and AI veterans, and we didn't change the functionality of the bot at all. But we did shorten the name from Abigail Bailey. We shortened it down to Abby, so it's just Abby now, like Siri or Alexa. So it's just Abby, the strategic leadership bot, and the AI principal head teacher. That's anthropomorphic, because that's a human title. And so we call it now the AI, the AI strategic leadership bot. And initially was she. We gave it the pronoun she, and a picture, an avatar that I create. We created it through Wonder, actually, and animated it through another program. And so it was anthropomorphic in that way, and it was that was what changed. So the functionality didn't change at all, but the bot changed in that it became less humanized. And we've been taught and we've been led by some absolutely incredible. One of the greatest things, Adebayo, that's happened to us is that lots of people have reached out. Do you know Wembley? Are you a football fan? I've lost them. I'm live with everybody here. Oh, here we go. You're on the right now. Are you there, Adebayo? We're just talking about Wembley.
Yeah.
Are you there?
Yeah.
I think
can you hear me now?
Yeah. So Wembley is. Do you know? Obviously, do you like football? Are you a football fan?
A little.
A little. So apparently the most famous football stadium in the world. When I say apparently, it could be other countries could think theirs are the most famous, but Wembley is the sort of home, the original stadium. And there's a university in Wembley, and they've reached out to me, and they want to do a project with Cottesmore. There's a guy who is extraordinary, who created bots a long time ago, literally like 5, 8, 7 years ago. He's done TED Talks, and he's helping us. So that's the thing that it's done. We pushed the envelope heavily. We really went for it, and we reached out, and people have come to us. And so that's the connection thing. That's the conversation thing. That's what it's done for us. It's been absolutely astounding. But anyway, so Abby now is just on the website, and it's helping people with strategic leadership, and that's the whole story. That's where we are. That's sort of the end of the story.
Wow.
It does flow into another one, but yeah, that's the story so far of Abby, at least.
Wow, that's powerful. And again, this is powerful. If there's one word that I've heard again and again in this conversation, it's the word conversation. It's the word conversation. I mean, you've mentioned a lot of engagements. How you've had to meet a lot of people, a lot of professionals in the IT world, a lot of veterans in the AI world. I kept on hearing that word over and over again: conversations. And so this means that as an individual or as a school, if you are thinking of how to break into, if you're thinking of your AI strategy, and when the first thing you want to do is to embrace a lot of conversations. And again, I've been seeing something in the last 1 year, and that is what I call the partnership age. The partnership age for K-12 education. And what you have said, in the last 5 minutes has also proven the fact that this time around, school is going to need to open up its borders, right, to professionals from other industries. AI to an extent is going to trigger or drive that partnership between school and the tech world, specifically the AI world, because there's going to be need for a lot of conversations, discussing around things, how it's evolving, being in tune with what's happening in that space over and over again. So I think that indeed, this is not going to be the time for school to be isolated anymore. This is the time for school to open up its borders and to begin to reach out for various conversations. Again, for the sake of offering the students in the school environment what is current, for the sake of serving today's learners in the classroom, exactly what today's world is asking for, giving them the opportunity to connect with today's world. And I think again, it's so powerful. Okay, so the next question I'm going to ask. What are the challenges that you think you had to deal with in this journey? What are the things that you will call challenges that you have to face heads on and solve for?
There are two really clear challenges at Adebayo, and those are safeguarding
Mm.
That's actually the proper number one thing, and part of that is GDPR data. And so it's really very simple. When you are thinking about doing AI in schools, you have to be quadruply 5 times safer than you think you should be. So typing things in, typing your personal details in, typing where you're going to be on Saturday, typing, copy and pasting documents with names and telephone numbers, just simply do not do that. That's just a not. That's just a no. And so that's sort of the first lesson, really, I'd say, is really just be super careful with that. And it's quite easy for me because my school only goes to 13, and so they can be, we can deal with that. I think when they get older, they're a bit more autonomous. You can tell them whatever you want, but teenagers are quite prone to doing things you tell them not to. And so I think that's probably, what are the challenges? I think that's probably a challenge for a secondary school, to get the children to get the young adults to not do the thing that you tell them not to do. That's probably quite challenging. But safeguarding, obviously, is massively, hugely important. And in fact, only 13-year-olds can use the OpenAI. We don't let them use it on their own. We do a lot of the inputting ourselves, just because that's what we've decided. Quadrupling 5 times, doubling down on safeguarding GDPR. So we're doing the inputting, they're doing the code or the prompts or the writing everything, and we're putting it in and drawing out the content and making sure the bots work. So that's actually, I'm giving the game away for the next bit of conversation. I think you're going to ask me about the practical stuff that's going on at Cottesmore, but so those are the two things, really. I think I think a difficult thing is going to be jobs. But I don't think ignoring this is the way forward. I think embracing it, understanding it, becoming one with it. If you want to reject it, or if you want to say it's bad or whatever, do that with knowledge, do that with intelligence, do that with all the information you can. Then say no. AI is definitely not good. Okay, so that would be my sort of bit of advice. Is I wouldn't either be a proselytizer, or I wouldn't leap into it with happiness and joy without really knowing what you're up against. And also, don't say it's bad and terrible and it's no good for the same reason. If you haven't looked into it, or you don't know enough about it, then you can't make either judgment. So I'd say learn about it and then act. But that's I think that's the two big challenges: safeguarding, GDPR.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that powerful insight. Don't just jump on it because of the excitement. Enter into it with knowledge. Very important. So I have a question from Brother. It says, what does Habi do in the strategic leadership function? Like, what are the day-to-day activities like with educators and students?
Okay, so I think this is where the clarity is definitely needed, because you have people now realize, who've been using this, have been creating bots, realize that you need a bot for this or a bot for that, or this is more this is easier if you have different bots. And so this particular bot is for me and you, because we need strategy in our lives. We need strategy. You need strategy to run EAZY-DIGI. I need strategy to run Cottesmore. This is a strategic leadership bot, and specifically that, and it's trained on strategic leadership public documents, and that's it. And so that's what it does. It helps me. It helps me think a little bit wider. Let's say I'm putting together a curriculum, or I'm putting together a policy, and let's say on behavior, and I haven't considered that, let's say autism or some form of special educational need. The AI or the bot will give a much rounder starter for 10 for a policy than you will, because you it's very human to be focused down on the things that you think are really, really important, like The health and safety. I am the health and safety man. Yes, I'm going to think about health and safety a lot, and I'm going to write half the report about health and safety. But actually, what you've done is you've missed out safeguarding, or you've missed out some other element. But AI will help you to order your thoughts, and it won't let you miss something out, because it'll come up with a good strategy, a good bullet point list. So essentially, Abby is a strategic leadership bot, and it does what it says on the tin. That's what Abby does. So that's the question. So I was just wondering, I was hoping that somebody who's very special to me would make themselves known or ask a question. He's called Alex Fay. He is from a company called Task, and that's one of the links. It was Interactive Tutor, and now it's Task. And am I allowed to share, or is that relevant, or not really? Share screen, or should I not share?
Of course, it's relevant. Yeah, I think I copied the link already. Yeah, I copied the link from the chat box, and then you can share. So I'm just gonna, once I see your screen, is
that sharing?
Yeah.
So
permission.
Oh no, can you see that?
Yeah, of course I can.
Yeah. So that's Task, and Alex Fay. I don't know if you can write a question in the Alex in the comment section if you're still there. But he has been instrumental in helping us. I'm gonna just stop sharing. Shall I? Have you stopped sharing?
Yeah. I'll check it away
now. Yeah. Was it showing the right thing there, Task? I'm just going to show it one more time, just so people know what it is. This is some good stuff. This is a guy who's helped me out enormously. It's slightly it's slightly delayed, I think, at your end. But he has been completely instrumental in taking us forward. Essentially, there we go. That's the one. Task. I'm going to stop sharing screen. So Task is how we've made our thoughts and our strategies a reality. That's the bottom line. He's helped us. We've been with him right from the start. I think we were early adopters of his product, and I can't recommend him highly enough. That was where it was.
Awesome. So let's get into teaching and learning. At Cottesmore. Integrating AI. What does teaching and learning looks like typically? In the school environment at Cottesmore.
Okay, so Adebayo, just to clarify, if you walked into the school on a regular day, you wouldn't see much difference. It's not like we're using AI for every single lesson and every single thing that we do. So just if any schools are worrying about that, then just stop worrying about that. It's not a thing. It's not a reality. Schools are not, apart from maybe Elon Musk's school, but I don't know how that's going. It's called Synergy or I can't remember what it's called, but
that's true.
In real life school, you don't have to be playing around with AI every single moment of the day. But having said that, we are leading some really exciting AI projects. So our latest one was, and this is from Abby. So right from the beginning, I wanted to create a school of AI bots, essentially a faculty. So head of English, and I've got the names for them and everything. And it's the brakes were put on because of this whole anthropomorphization thing, or the professors saying, "Hang on, just hold on for a sec" with the humanizing of this stuff. So we put a bit of a halt on that. But then myself and Alex, we were talking about it, and I've been sort of badgering him to help me put together the faculty. And he said, "Right, this is going to be awesome." He came up with the way we're going to do it. And of course, with OpenAI's latest iteration of the bot creation sort of application side of things, the children can now, or the students can now, create bots through their own prompts. And so we've called that Build a Bot, the Build a Bot project. And so the top year, the 13-year-olds, they are all prompting their own teacher bots or teaching bots into existence. So that's big stuff, and that's on my that's on my LinkedIn page, and so that you can see how that's going, and where that went.
Yeah.
And it was Alex who came. Did you see that, Adebayo? Did you see that video?
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, I saw it. So interesting. I saw it.
There we go. And Alex was down, and he helped the children think about what it is. It's a fantastic piece of metacognitive work. It's collaboration. It's what is a teacher? What is education? They're having to think about this stuff. 13-year-olds are having to think about this stuff, and it's big. This is big, proper, real world human education. This is big stuff, and it's not actually to do with AI. They're thinking about what is a teacher, what is education, what are lessons, why do we have a school, without having to, having to type anything into AI. But it's causing them to think in a really metacognitive way, which is very, very exciting indeed. So that's the Builderbot project that stemmed from Abby. So somebody was asking, what's Abby done and what does Abby do on a daily basis? That's the strategic leadership side. And actually what I wanted to say was it's interactive tutor, or now TASK, that is helping teachers to save time in the classroom and make them well, because there's so much admin to do in the UK. It's crazy. And so that's what I'd suggest, is that AI in general, generative AI, open AI, whatever, is used to cut down teacher workload. That's the major. That's one of my biggest passions. There's a bit of a crisis going on with teacher recruitment and retention, especially in certain parts of certain sectors in the UK in schools. And I just believe surely this is a way that it can make teaching a more enjoyable profession, so we can be left to teach. Yeah, so we don't have to sit down at a computer and continuously create policies and type and stare into a screen. We can actually engage more with the children because we have more time in the day to engage with the children. Surely everybody wants that. Every single person wants that. Sorry, so I'm sort of answering your question you asked me before, and this is what this is a really key thing. Let's cut down teacher workload and make things easier for teachers, and let them spend more time with the children, with the students, with the girls and boys. But sorry, Abby turned into the Builderbot project, which is the faculty, creating a whole faculty of bots, teacher bots, essentially. It's a really super cool idea, and it's happening, and it's going. So I'll just say another one. So did you want to do a summary, or did you want me to continue?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, so I won't talk too much, but there's sort of things going on. So we had a Richard III, the Kings of England, Richard III bot, and that was happening. We had a Plato bot. We had a Socrates style questioning bot, and it was these things are all just happening quietly in the background, really safely through safeguarding and GDPR regulation. Really, just happening in the background. But the second big one is, and I think I mentioned it before, was that Darren Coxon, when he talked at the show, when he talked at the festival, he did this thing in 3 hours, created a whole school, architecturally, all the policies, everything in 3 hours. The entire school. Wow. So you could write all of your policies, you could write everything, do the whole lot in 3 hours. And I think we achieved it. But one of the teachers was present. Obviously, we all had to be present because it was so that was one thing. It was a 3-line whip to be there. And so what happened was, maybe 3 months later, a teacher said, I'm going to do this in my ICT lessons, coding lessons for the children. And so the idea of the Cottesmore's AI school show was born. So really simply put, the students, the girls and boys, create their school. They write about it. They create the image of it, like let's say an underwater school for cool people or whatever they want to call it. And they create, and the amazing thing is, again, this metacognitive work is so extraordinary. They create visions for the school. They create mission statements for the school. They create purpose statements for the school. They are thinking about what is a school, what's the point of education, what, and also really interestingly, they did this a thing where they realized that they had to attract people to it, because it was a private, these were private schools, so they had to attract, because there was an element of business to it, and so there was a little bit of entrepreneurialism there, and they had to appeal. Who was their audience? They had to do audience work. And who the audience was, 8 to 13-year-olds, because this is who they were trying to sell to. And then we had this show. So in the morning, we all the leaflets were put everywhere. We printed out these leaflets that they created of their schools, and then the children circulated the room. So the other children in the school circulated the room, and they were looking at the school and asking the questions of the people who created these schools, and saying, well, will my child be safe in this underwater school? And what do you, how are you going to keep my child? All this sort of stuff. And they had to sort of, had to be really sharp. And so that was the AI school show. And I can thoroughly recommend that, because you can do that without, you can do that with ChatGPT 3.5, which is free. Yeah. And I'd say just do it. That's a really fun project for educators. And it introduced children to the idea of AI, generative AI, entrepreneurialism, as I say, collaborative work. It's a really powerful project. So AI school show and the Build-A-Bot workshop. 2 things I would say, do it. The Build-A-Bot workshop's a little bit more involved, I'd say. You probably just need to do a bit more research and sort of really understand, get under the skin of it. But the other one, that you can just go for the school show. It's good fun. It's really good fun. And otherwise,
wow.
Yeah, continuing.
Yeah, this is great. I mean, a whole lot. I so much love the fact that you're sharing these amazing things that have happened in the school environment at Cottesmore, and I know for many school leaders that are listening right now, I know they are getting some inspiration, because for many school leaders, it's about what's possible. I mean, can we really do this? But listening to a school like Cottesmore, sharing the experience and then talking about these possibilities, I can imagine. I know I've been hearing things like, oh, we need to infuse AI literacy into schools, into the mainstream education system. Like kids need to start learning about, AI, and also like how to jump on it and all of that. And I know you also mentioned the fact that for your students at Cottesmore, they've been infused into that, all of those things. They understand what basically AI is all about, what it can do for you, and what you can do with AI and all of those possibilities. Again, I also know that the number of schools who are scared of this particular thing. I mean, this issue of AI literacy and introducing it to students, right? How would you like to advise such kind of school leaders who are saying, do we really need to start talking about AI literacy in our schools right now? Is it really important right now? How would you advise those kind of school leaders?
I think I got the question, but just what's the question again? Just in short.
Yeah. So for school leaders that are thinking, do they need to disrupt their curriculum and bring in AI literacy? Why should they do it? Now, why should they bring it into their curriculum? I mean, AI literacy.
Yeah, and that's a really good question. And my answer is a bit obtuse, because you don't have to. That's the bottom line. You don't have to bring AI into the curriculum. So I'd just say feel chilled. Feel to those people, I'd say feel chilled. And it's fine. It's all going to be cool. But if actually you wanted an answer where I said, well, come on, we really do need to introduce AI. What are the reasons? It exists. That's the reason to do it. It exists, and it's existed for a long time. AI has existed for a long time, and nobody really knew about it or really understood it as well. Sorry, nobody. When I say nobody, the majority of people didn't really understand it as well as they do now. And I just think it exists, and it's going to be part of your children's lives. And I think, introduce it to the children. If it becomes nothing, or if it fizzles away, fine, drop it. It's not a big problem. You don't have to do it every day. It doesn't have to be 3 lessons a day on AI. But I just think it's going to be part, and it already is, but it's going to be even more of a part of children's lives. I just think, learn about it. Even if you've learned a tiny bit about it, impart that knowledge to the children you've got in your school. Even if you only know a little bit about it, or if you just learned how to use, don't use ideogram in front of a whole school. By the way, I wouldn't say that. I have not. But, it's not the right one to use in school. But if I do think it's really important, even with the little knowledge that people do have, to start introducing it to the children. And I actually do think it's important. But equally as much, relax. It's going to be cool, even if you don't. Everything's going to be the same. But I do think there's a little bit of a moral compulsion to do something in schools with it, because it exists, and I think it's super exciting. I think it's super fun. I think it's really interesting. And if it is dangerous, we need to know about that. Yeah, we need to know about what generative AI is, so that we can talk about it. So we can talk to the people, the powers that be, about that, and ask them, what are you doing about this dangerous thing that is AI 5 years down the track, or whatever. And so all roads point to finding out about AI and imparting. It's got to be year specific. It's got to be right. It's got to be pitched right. You don't start talking to a 4-year-old about some of the complexities of code and and design and whatever. But I think you can tell the children what it is. I really do think you can tell them, because it exists. That's the answer, Adebayo. It exists. That's why you should do it. That's why you should bring it to the children.
It exists. It exists. That's why you should do it. Okay. There was something you talked about, and we're going to be wrapping up in like 7 minutes. We didn't want to keep you longer than that. You talked about AI and special education. And of course, if we're going to talk about an inclusive education approach, we need to talk about special education. Can you just tell us a bit about what you have seen in that direction, what it looks like, and the possibilities there?
Okay, this is where we're working very, very hard. This is where Alex Fay is working very, very hard. He's been working with schools. He's been working actually really hard on reducing teacher workload, but also working on this. I am personally exceedingly excited about the future of AI and special educational needs. That's the bottom line. Is it perfect now? Does it absolutely 300% work? Yeah, it's still to come. It's still to come. It's a promise. It's a wish. But you can see it. You can see that it's happening in certain ways. It's not perfect, but you can see it's happening. Essentially, what it is that if you put someone's needs into not with their name or with their address or any of that, not that stuff, but if you put people's needs, like an educational psychologist report, into a bot, and you ask it to, let's say, create some resources to teach Bill or Jemima about the Tudors, or let's get more specific, Henry VIII. And it will, if they're sort of, I don't know, let's say choose a really simple thing, like if they can't see very well, or if they can't hear very well, or then the resources, if you can't see very well, will become very aural. If you can't hear very well, the resources will become very highly visual. If you can't, whatever, if you have dyslexia, this will happen. If you have whatever dyspraxia, it'll be that. And so that's the bottom line. It can bespoke. It will bespoke. It'll bespoke things for the child, and that is massive. And one thing I'll say is that I'm going to the UNESCO headquarters in March in Paris to talk about AI and inclusion. And this, I'm really hoping this is going to be something before that time, in the next month, whatever, month and a half, I'll be able to bring some really practical, really exciting things that have been happening in that realm, AI and SEN. I think it's huge.
Yeah.
It's not really. I was with my conference, AI and SEN conference. I was trying to prove actually, special educational needs doesn't exist or doesn't need to exist. I mean, that sounds a bit radical and a bit serious, but with the help of AI, it doesn't. Special educational needs doesn't need to be a problem for someone. That's the bottom line. Why is it okay? Why is it just because you're dyslexic, but highly intelligent? Why is it okay that you didn't get that job? Or why is it okay that this didn't happen for you? Or it's not okay, as far as I'm concerned. And I think that is hugely exciting. That's a massive thing. And I think, there's going to be an explosion of activity and excitement around that pretty soon. We've been working with, as I say, again, Alex at TASC. There's another guy called James who's at Talamo, who has been working on democratizing educational psychology reports, doing dyslexia tests that are quicker and cheaper through AI. And it's just, there's so much possibility for this, massive possibility. So it's watch this space, I say. AI and SEN is the new massive world-changing thing. I think it's going to be massive.
Powerful. Thank you for sharing this. Seeing the possibilities that AI can bring into that space, that's a lot. And again, as we go this evening, what do you if you look at 5 years into the future, if you look at 10 years into the future, where do you think AI is taking education to? What are the things you think are going to be the possibilities we should look out for?
So, Adebayo, what I want is for us to spend more time. This might sound a little bit contrarian. I want us to spend more time in nature. I want us to spend more time with each other. That's what I hope for AI. I'm not, but the answer, maybe people would expect me to say, well, we should spend more time in a basement staring into a screen. I think the opposite of that. AI needs to lead us to a place where we become more human, and we become more healthy, and we become better people. And that's the bottom line. If it can do that, and in my mind, it has been a success. So where do I want AI to go? I want it to go to that place. So I'm talking at an esports. We've got an esports match. Esports, like electronic
gaming, those things,
teams, other teams. So there's another school coming tomorrow evening, and there's an esports match. It's crazy because we're usually outside with a hockey stick or doing whatever we're doing, and we're doing an esports match tomorrow evening. So it's a big thing because esports, some people might say, well, that puts you in front of a screen, and it's like, yeah, that's where I want it to go. I want to take it away from a screen. That's where I think it is going. I think it's going away from lots of radiation coming off your screen, your mobile phone here, lots of radiation. I think it's got to go away from that. It's got to become, technology has to become more healthy. Technology has to become more outdoorsy. That's where I want Adebayo, technology and AI to go. It's encouraging people outdoors. It's encouraging people away from sedentary life. And I think that's where I want it to go. That's the future. That's my future for it.
And I think sincerely, I do agree with you. It's a humanity first, humans first. Whatever development that's coming, into technology, should prioritize humanity. I do totally agree with you. Tom, thank you so much. This has been an awesome conversation. Like at EAZY-DIGI, we are going to be following the story at Cottesmore so closely. We have a global conference coming up mid-year around August, and again, we'd like to connect again on that level, because I know by then there's going to be more case studies. There's going to be a lot of evidence, and especially in the area of special education, like you've mentioned, there's going to be a lot of evidence, on the table as regards how things have evolved, a lot of experiments that have been done, and a lot of outcomes. And we're looking forward to also sharing, these things that happens in the school environment at Cottesmore.
Tell me
Tom,
where this
thank you.
conference is. Tell me where this conference is. What's this conference? This big...
Oh, it's a virtual conference. We do it like every year. It's a virtual conference, so we just bring education leaders, across the globe, and we look at for pertinent issues. The title is K-12 2030, school models for the society and economy of 2030 and beyond. That's what we'll talk about in that conference.
That's a big conversation. Education 3.0, Web 3, DAO.
Yeah.
You got blockchain. You got a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a narrative you're pushing, and I think that should be an important part of that conversation. And that's the place of technology putting us in that place where humanity is enhanced, where we're spending more time as humans. Those kind of designs, tech designs that that takes us to that place as humans, I think is an important conversation that needs to become a part of that conference. I'm really inspired. Listening to you, Tom, has given me a lot of ideas. I mean, my head is full right now. I need to get some pen and paper and put down some things. And put a lot of this together. Thank you so much, Tom. Thank you for your time.
I hear all about it.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. We're going to stay connected, and I look forward to the conference you're going for at UNESCO, and of course, and everything that happens from that place.
I'm going to be reporting back.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much, Tom, and bye for now.
Thanks, everybody. See you soon.
Yeah. Wow, that was mind blowing. I mean, personally, I'm going to listen to the recording of this session, multiple times, because there's a lot of things to digest. There's a lot of things to think about, as regards AI in education. The Cottesmore story is so inspiring. I mean, it's so inspiring. And evidence is a revolution. If something has happened somewhere, I mean, it can happen everywhere. If we're going to open our minds, and Tom kept on saying, conversations. If there was one thing I learned from this conversation, it's the power of conversations. I mean, connecting with people. And I think, like I always say, school has got to embrace partnership on a high level. Right, school has got to embrace partnership on it. I think this is a time where the boardroom of schools, needs to be very kind of decentralized. We need to have, so as a school leader, in the boardroom, you want to have AI experts in your boardroom, right, so that they can bring that insight, right, to your plan, to your school strategy, to your business strategy. I mean, you want to have various professionals across these various spectrums in your boardroom, because I think that's going to be the way to move your school forward, to put your school in that place where you are actually offering, where you are creating an atmosphere that can inspire today's learners, to become agents of change. Young people that can add value to their society, young people that are not just academic giants, young people that have built the capacity to add real value to their society, that have built the capacity to add real value to their community, right? And so I encourage now you see, while Tom was speaking, he mentioned quite a number of names, right? Some of those names I've connected with on LinkedIn, and the ones I haven't connected with, I'm going to go after them, right? I'll go after them. That's the new culture, right? So this culture of networking, if you're a school leader, is something you got to embrace so much, right? At a time like this. So I think we've come to a time where, as an education leader, as an education professional, you really want to embrace networking. Okay, yeah, Tom is giving me some names. I need to copy those names real quick. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna put the names Aaron Colton. Okay. Oh, thank you so. Yeah, Aaron Colton and Dan. Yeah, I've connected with Dan. I think let me do Jason Goya. Okay, Jason Goya. Yeah, I mean that's how we roll. Networking. That's it. networking, having conversations with people who are into this thing, who are seeing what's happening in that world, who have got a lot of insights to share. Matthew Wemis. Okay. Yeah. Putting down all of the names. Yeah. Thank you so much, Tom, for sharing the names, right? And that's how it goes. That's how it goes. A lot of conversations, right? Tom started by talking about conversations and connections, conversations and connections. And so, as a school, this is not a time to just be immersed in the school activities and everything that happens within the school. This is the time to open up your borders, right? You've got to be a school without walls, right? Meaning that you're a connected school. You are strongly connected with other industries, right? And that way we can reduce the gap between school, the society, and workplace. We can reduce the knowledge gap. We can reduce the skills gap, right? Between school, the society, and the workplace. Okay, I see a frame, Elena. I'm gonna put that down. A frame. Ephraim Lena. Yeah, Ephraim Lena. Okay. All right. All right. All right. Yeah, I'm so excited. The conversation continues. The conversation, whatever you're listening from, you're listening from Africa, from Asia, from Europe, whatever it is you're listening from. I think there are quite a number of things you can start doing right now. Right. Okay. Chris, go out. Okay. Dr. Nick Jackson. Oh, okay. Dr. Nick Jackson. And then Chris Coda. All right, so we've got to go now. Let's stay connected. And by the way, you can follow Tom on LinkedIn. Of course, you can see it's right there on. You can follow him. He's always sharing a lot of amazing stuff, right? And I'm going to say, Cottesmore School is an amazing school. So thank you for that, for the leadership that you're providing in that world of AI in education. Thank you for that leadership. Thank you for that move. That's a move, and that move, I'm sure, has already inspired a lot of people to also want to break into that world of possibilities. So exciting, so exciting. Yeah, all on LinkedIn. Thank you so much, Tom, for sharing this powerful information. All right, so to our viewers, to listeners, please do stay connected. Um, every week, every Tuesday. But for this week, we are not going to be having the Disruptive Educators Club because of today's webinar. But so by next week, Tuesday, we're going to be meeting again, just touching around what's happening. We live in a world where knowledge is evolving. I just saw, I think a day or a few days ago, what the tech space, how NVIDIA is now number 3, right? The third most. So many things are happening in that space. That's what we live in today. Knowledge is just so evolving in that manner, and we're trying to understand what's going on and how does this impact what we teach, right? So how we live has a lot. So it impacts a lot what we teach. Tom said something. He said because it does exist, so you need to teach it, right? So if it's not existing, you may not want to bother about, of what use it is, of the knowledge, the information. But because it does exist, then that is something worth talking about. It does exist, right? We're seeing 2024 is a different year, kind of. Between January and now, a lot of things have changed, right? A lot of things have changed, especially for the AI world. So this company, NVIDIA, the sudden rise, right? The sudden rise all the way, that right now is the third most valuable company in the world. And, the connection with AI is saying something, right? What Apple just did recently, like they've been investing, in this electric car project, but then they had to pause it and say right now they want to face AI. I hope that Apple is not late. I hope they're not late, because what is happening right now sounds like they're late. But let's see what happens in the next few months, and let's see if Apple is late or not, right? So when it sounds like Microsoft is leading the game, I mean, these are the kind of conversations we're going to have in our classrooms, right? These are the kind of conversations as disruptive educators that we're going to be talking about in our classrooms, right? Because these are realities, these are things that are happening, and we're looking at how this, also influences, the things that our kids are learning today. How can it inspire them, right? And how can it put them in that place where relate with today's world? Again, because if they cannot relate to today's world, how can they relate, with the world in their own future, right? It promises to be another awesome time next week when we connect again and we're talking about these things, right? Until then, keep learning, keep networking, keep connecting, keep having conversations, right? That's how we grow, that's how we learn, right? Bye for now, and I'm gonna see you soon in the Disruptive Educators Club next Tuesday on LinkedIn. Bye, everyone.